in the construction business?
22 years, ma'am.
A home edition ready for the wrecking ball?
How much did you pay him?
$4,000 the first payment and $2,000 the second payment.
What you built was not built according to code.
And a defense in danger of collapse.
Are you a licensed contractor in Virginia?
I'm a licensed plumber. I don't have a contracting license. I may have done wrong there.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Nancy Carroll is suing contractor Ian Hoffman for substandard work on a porch she hired him to build.
Order. All rise. This is case number 88 on the calendar in the matter of Carroll versus Hoffman.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Miss Carroll, you hired the defendant to perform work for you to build a porch on your home. It is your claim that despite the fact that you paid him a substantial amount of money, he never completed the job. You want your money back.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hoffman said, well, he was almost finished and you fired him. Mr. Hoffman, how long have you been in the construction business?
22 years, ma'am.
Do you work for yourself?
I was just starting to work for myself.
So you had worked for somebody else before?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was that?
Boyers left it to come to Virginia to start with Southern Air.
Are you a licensed contractor in Virginia?
I'm a licensed plumber.
Well, you don't have to be a plumber to build a porch.
Yes, I'm not a licensed contractor, no, ma'am.
Not?
No.
Are you supposed to be a licensed contractor before you build anything that annexes to a house?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not certain that I am. It was an issue between friends, and I don't have a contracting license. I may have done wrong there.
How long do you know Miss Carroll?
Maybe 5 weeks. She is a friend of a friend.
She's not your friend.
Yeah, she's not my direct friend.
I didn't get the sense that she was a friend.
Definitely not my friend now.
I got the feeling that you really didn't know her at all.
No.
When she hired you. Did you prepare a written contract?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
I'd like to see it.
All right.
I'd like to see yours too, Miss Carroll.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you both signed this?
Yes, ma'am.
Agreement. It outlined what you were supposed to do for the $7,570 that she was supposed to pay you. How much did you pay him?
I paid him $4,000 the first payment and $2,000 the second payment, which was after the roof was put on.
After the roof was put on, you were supposed to pay him $1,867
ma'am.
and another $1,867.50 when the job was completed. But you never made that last payment to him.
Correct.
Okay. Do you have a picture of the property before the work was done?
No, ma'am.
I do, ma'am.
I'd like to see.
That's pertinent.
A picture of the property before the work was done, and then I'd like to see a picture of the property when the defendant left the property.
Got it somewhere.
By the way, how long did this take you, Mr. Hoffman?
I'd been working on the porch myself for 3 weeks. I just hired a man to help me finish up the last week, and I'd also hired Mr. Kuhn to come in and stain the deck when we were done.
Did he do it?
No, ma'am.
So he didn't do it?
We got fired there.
Okay. Did you ever work at night?
Yes, ma'am.
From what time to what time?
I worked as long as I could.
No. That's not what I asked you. What time did you start?
I worked through the day and into the night.
Did you ever start working at 10 o'clock at night?
I didn't start, but I continued.
Until what time?
1, 2. I was a long way from home, ma'am.
What does that mean?
I have a dog, a cat. I was an hour and a half to 2 hour drive from the house through the mountains, and I wanted to get the job done quick for myself and for her.
You can't work at night in a residential neighborhood, banging.
It's the countryside, ma'am. There's not a house within 100 yards.
100 yards isn't far.
I wasn't banging. I didn't even drive any nails. I was screwing. The whole deck is built out of screws. 3 deck, not near about where it's at now. Some examples of design work. I designed it myself.
May I please see the...
Yes.
No, I don't need any of this. I want to see a picture of what the property looked like. That's what I asked you for before you got started. You said I have that.
Yes, I thought I did. As a matter of fact, I do. It's on my phone. Would you like to see that?
Yes. And I'd like to see the picture of the property.
Those are hers.
These are yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Did you bring that to her, sir? That says I started to move the existing deck she had in place.
Okay, got it. When were these pictures taken?
Approximately 2 weeks after he left.
2 weeks after he left?
1 to 2 weeks. And I didn't get them returned from having them developed till another week.
But after these pictures were taken, he never came back to the property.
Before, or probably before they were taken.
What?
I hadn't been back to the property for a week to 2 weeks before those were
Well, I'm
taken.
looking at some of this work, sir. I don't get it, actually, and I'm not in
I haven't
construction.
seen them.
I'm going to show you what it looks like. I
ma'am.
want you to look at all of them. And then Officer Byrd is going to return them to me. Did you get somebody else to do this job?
I had 2 and 3 contractors come to my home and got estimates.
Carefully at all those things, as I did, sir.
Yes, I am, ma'am. It's just showing pretty much what I'd expect to see from an unfinished job. It's as I left it so far. Like I said, I was there to finish up that week, and it looks like an ongoing project,
I got the whole thing, sir.
which I told her before we started the job. It's a substantial job. It will be a job site for a little while.
Listen to me carefully.
Yes, ma'am.
There are certain codes. What you built was not built according to code. All of these
No.
estimates suggest that they have to demolish everything that was done in order to build the roof according to code.
That's not even close to true, ma'am. It's not even close to true.
Well,
the
I'm
whole
looking at the work
structure's
there, and
screwed
I am a
together.
lay person, actually, Mr. Hoffman, and I'm not a builder. But the infrastructure of what you built there is so poor.
You're looking at the old construction, is what I'd say.
I'm looking at the old construction or what you built.
You're not looking at the new if it's poor because it's overbuilt. Everything and the whole thing's screwed
Well, then
together
just
with
show me
screws.
show me a photograph of what you finished.
There's not one single thing that's 100% finished. The roof, it's dried in per contract.
You got $6,000 out of a $7,500 fee.
All of that's in material and fuel. I've made no money out of this, lost money on this job.
You're going to lose even more.
Ma'am, I'm not.
And I
If
want to tell
anything,
you,
she owes
Mr.
me
Hoffman,
money.
Mr. Hoffman, what you have to do before requirements are.
I didn't think I was in business, ma'am. I was not trying to make
You
money.
are in business if you're building a house.
I wasn't
A house
building a
has
house.
to. You pay careful attention. If you're building a house, you have to build a house according to code. If you're putting a roof on something, you have to build a roof according to code. If you're building a structure that's enclosed, I read the outline of what you were supposed to do. It has to be built according to code. And if you don't know what the code is, don't tell me you were dealing with a friend. She was not your friend.
I know the code. I said I wasn't licensed. That's above and beyond code.
Not according to these 3 estimates.
This isn't California, ma'am. This is in Virginia. We don't have earthquake seismic restraints. You don't
We're
have
not talking about
screw.
earthquake. I live in Connecticut. I have a code.
And I followed it. I overbuilt it. There's 16 4x4 posts holding up a 16 by 8
how you
structure.
can get up on the ramp that you built.
I didn't build that ramp, ma'am. That's an existing ramp.
Was that an existing ramp?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
But your proposal included.
It was an existing ramp that was to move and improve.
Well, did you do that?
I moved it.
And
It has not been improved yet. It was
judgment for the
improved by
plaintiff in
taking
the
it
amount
away
of
from the front of her
$5,000. We're
house.
done here.
Ma'am,
Parties are excused.
I cared about the guy. You know, he'd bring his dog, and I babysit his dog,
she was too friendly. It was hard to work. She was so friendly.
feeding him and his dog.
She went so far as to say, stop working. You don't
10 to 5 o'clock in the morning,
come in and eat something. Come in and drink something.
and like to fall off the deck while he's working. I said, you need to come in and get some rest
Yes, she had me stay over,
and just sleep and rest.
sleep on the couch. She was really hairiest.
It just got to be ridiculous of what he was doing.
14 cats and 3 dogs, but, you know, to be polite and nice, I did stay over a couple nights.
A lesson learned that was a nightmare, if you ask me.
But, you know, I work for a living, and it's taking money out of my pocket, and it hurts.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cornett versus Duncan. Step forward.
Sean Cornett is suing his former friend, Timothy Duncan, for money owed for helping Timothy's mother close a workman's comp case.
Mr. Cornett, what do you do for a living?
Right now, I'm retired. I'm unemployed, but I was a truck driver.
How long were you a truck driver?
Probably close to 10 years.
How old are you?
52.
When was the last time you had a job?
04, when my daughter was born.
Is there any reason for that?
Yeah. I had 2 TIAs, strokes, in last year.
Well, last year
Yeah.
is not 2004. Why didn't you work between 2004 and 2015?
I stayed with my daughter, raised my daughter.
How did you support yourself?
She's on social services.
Who does she live with?
Me.
Well, she didn't live with you when you were living with the defender, she.
She's 12 now.
What's the nature of her disability?
She's not disabled. I am.
Sir, I just asked you what you did between 2004 to support yourself and 2015.
Right.
What did you do?
I worked as a mechanic, part-time at home, and that's what I did.
Okay. Now, you needed a place to live. I assume you had an extra room.
Right.
You said you would let him move into that room.
Right.
Did you charge him rent?
$400.
Where did he get the $400 from?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No.
Great. This is what your lawsuit is about, Mr. Cornett. Mr. Duncan's mother had a pending workman's comp case, and it is your claim that she agreed that if you helped her get her workman's comp case resolved, then you would get a piece of the action.
She offered me $2,000.
Now, why would she ask you to help her with a workman's comp case?
Well, she didn't ask me. I was told that she had a workman's comp case, and I said, well, Betty, how old is this? You know, because she hadn't worked for a while.
No, my question is, why would she ask you? You're a truck driver, unemployed, who does mechanics work part-time. Why would she even think? What expertise do you have to help anybody getting a workman's comp case?
Well, just because I was a truck driver doesn't make me an idiot.
Well, let me explain something to you. I didn't say that you were an idiot, sir. I've been a practicing lawyer for 50 years. I wouldn't know how to go about getting somebody. I do this. So I wouldn't know how to get somebody workman's comp. So my question is, why would anybody think that you had any special gift for helping them getting their workman's compensation case resolved, as opposed to letting her son do it?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And later today,
Where did you find this car?
I was driving near the airport, and the car was parked.
So you didn't buy it on a lot?
No.
You bought it from the street?
Parked near a lot, though.
And you look like smart enough.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sean Cornett is suing his former friend, Timothy Duncan, for money owed for helping Timothy's mother close a workman's comp case.
Now, what do you have?
I happen to have some experience with some of the law stuff.
Well, I'd like you to tell me. That's what I'm asking you, sir.
Okay. Well,
I was getting sort of vague answers from you about how you've managed to support yourself for the last 2 decades.
Okay.
So now maybe you can tell me.
All right. Well, what happened was she mentioned that she had this case, and I said, well, how old is it? She said 7 years. I said, 7 years? It's stagnant. It's over. She didn't have any real paperwork or anything that she gave me, so I tried to contact her attorneys, and they sent me a letter stating that they just went to court and relieved themselves of representing her. So I told her, well, Betty, we're going to have to get some new lawyers. So we went to Costa Mesa. We got an attorney there, and I explained to them she hasn't received anything, no doctor's appointment. We went to the doctor's appointment, her and I. He checked her range of motion and everything, and he was supposed to give workman's comp when she was MSA, permanent disabled. And so he sent a letter to them and to us also stating that she was declared permanent disability back in 2008 or 9. And so we got the case going again because we had seen a doctor. Shortly after that, they started sending her $420 twice a month. Okay, so I said, we got the case going again. So I have a stack of emails that were from her attorney to myself.
I don't care about those emails, sir. Your friend was very nice. He let you and your daughter move in to their home for $400 a month. I want only to see an email between you and Betty, is that her name? Mm-hmm. Betty, where she said she would pay you $2,000.
Okay, I don't have an email because I lived with her.
Just a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A note, a writing, a something that said that if she resolved her workman's comp case, she would give you $2,000.
Okay, I don't have anything like that.
Then you have no case.
Okay.
Good. Are we done?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Case dismissed.
All right, excuse me. Step out.
I didn't ask for the money.
My mother had dementia.
She said she would do it. I told her she didn't have to.
I really knew nothing about it.
And she insisted that I do it if I could get the case going again.
I didn't hear anything about it until after she passed away.
He's fully aware of it. It's just
shouldn't happen to people.
That's how he is.
Out of Omotayo versus Daniels. Step forward.
Carolyn Omotayo is suing James Daniels for selling her a stolen vehicle.
Ms. Omotayo, it is your claim that the defendant sold you a stolen car.
Correct.
You purchased the car in
November, Your Honor.
November.
Yes.
And when you purchased the car, you got a title.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And was the title in Mr. Daniels' name?
No, it was not, Your Honor.
In whose name was it?
Tamika.
Okay. You purchased a car from Mr. Daniels, and the title he gave you was not in his name.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Well, that should put you on notice.
It did.
Then I wouldn't fork over any money. Somebody has a car they want to sell, and the car title is in somebody else's name.
I believed him to be a dealer because I saw his dealer's license. So
What difference does it make? Then the title would have to be signed over by whoever Tamika is to the dealership.
Well, it was signed.
By whom?
I don't know. When I go to the dealer, it's signed as well.
Where did you find this car?
I was driving near the airport, and the car was parked. So
you didn't buy it on a lot?
No.
And when did you purchase it?
November the 15th.
Now, third, would you take a look for me, please? This was 2007 BMW X3.
That's correct.
7325.
Yeah, you're a smart lady, $700 more than the Blue Book, according to your complaint.
If it was less, then I would have been more suspicious.
Yeah. You can buy the same car anywhere else for $7,300. And according to you, you paid $8,000 for the car. According to you. That's what you say here. I purchased the car from James for $8,000. A car that was titled in somebody else's name that you were buying off the street. You follow where I'm going?
I hear you, Your Honor.
You follow where I'm going. You're a smart lady. What do you do for a living?
I do bookkeeping. But when you go to the dealership, because I was actually in the market for a car, so I went to the dealership and I looked at cars similar, and they're comparably priced. So
well, then I would buy it from it. Just a second. Then I would buy it. Then I would buy it from a dealer. I wouldn't buy it from a guy on the street that I don't know. Anyway, according to your story, you gave him $8,000 on November 15th.
That's
Did you pay him by check or cash?
I did pay cash.
I'd like to see where you got the money from.
Okay. And I have this as well, which shows that I did pay it.
No.
So
I want to see where you got the money from. You don't sleep with it under your mattress.
No.
You didn't pay him by check. You're a bookkeeper, so you know about checking accounts, savings accounts. Just show me where you got the money from.
Okay.
Just don't show me that. That's text messages. What I want to see
from the bank showing
what perfect. Perfect. I want to see your bank statement.
Okay.
Do you have it? The is not an answer.
I
do you have
not have a bank statement showing it, but that's a message from the bank showing the amount that was in my account.
Your case is dismissed without prejudice. Go someplace else and try this case.
Step out.
When I went to register it, they told me that the car was
sold a car with the pink slip and
either stolen or VIN wash or something like that.
She told me the car was stolen 5 months later.
The DMV called like